Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups. It's time for the preview show. You know what that means. We got Rex. What's up, Rex?
What's going on, buddy?
Chilling.
Happy Friday.
Yes, happy Friday. We've made it through another week almost. The
Almost.
weekend is here, and then we can get ready for some football. Hopefully, this is a more exciting Sunday for some of us than it was this last Sunday.
We were just talking about that before we went on the air, about what's upcoming as we, as we're midway through the season now. I'd say that the NFC East is its usual pathetic and sorry looking, condition that it always is about this time.
Yeah.
I know you're happy about your 6-2 Cowboys, but hey, still early, buddy. I don't think I don't think that one's going to stick.
It is, well, we'll see. It is still early in a rather long season. We get an extra game this year. I don't know why they really decided to do that, but sure.
Money.
Money,
man.
Yeah. Well, that was more of a rhetorical question, Rex, but thanks for making me look stupid.
Sorry.
Of course, no, I'm just kidding.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you mentioned the Bills before we went on the air. I wouldn't mind that. I would say I would like to see the Bills win one. We just talked about that the Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas years, and just how difficult it was. And every year they just couldn't get over that hump. I mean, it must have been awful to be a Bills fan back then.
Yeah, it was like being a Braves fan back then too. You keep making it, and then you can't actually do it.
But
right?
The Braves actually did it during that era. For the amount of times they were in the World Series, granted, but the Bills never walked away with one. And then the whole team just kind of came unglued, and they really until this year have not had anywhere close to that kind of success. So, in a strange sort of way, you kind of root for them, because. I mean, they're not in our division, so I'm more or less ambivalent about it. But just all those years, watching the Bills struggle, make it all the way through great seasons, just regular season always looks strong. And then they get to the Super Bowl and bang, they just couldn't pull it out.
My buddy is a big Bills fan. And we were talking this week and, both the Cowboys and the Bills had some rough losses this week because they were games that should have easily been handled. And I was like, don't worry. When the 90s nostalgia wave comes back and we have the Cowboys versus the Bills in the Super Bowl, we'll be laughing about week 8 or whatever. So,
as I said before, I agree with half of that statement. I think it'll be the Bills and somebody.
Well, here's the thing is, the NFC's got some contenders, obviously, but the AFC, we were talking about this last night. I had Justin Richards on the show, and we were all talking about how the AFC is kind of wide open right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's anybody's game over there right now.
It really is. I mean, it really is. So it should be interesting to see how it kind of pans out. And like every year, and we were talking earlier about that kid, Mac Jones,
Mm-hmm.
All these high-profile quarterbacks coming out of the draft, and you got, lowly Mac Jones who really didn't know if he was going to have a job or not, and all of a sudden gets to start. And I know that, and I'm not a huge Belichick fan. I always feel like when he gives his press conferences and he's like very stoic and, 2-word answers, 1-word, 2-word answers. It's like, dude, this is what you get paid for. Okay. You get paid a lot of money, not just to put the product on the field, but to deal with the press. And, because you're not saving the world here. You're not curing cancer, Bill.
Yeah.
I haven't appreciated that, but you got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, he's done it with, and this is taking nothing away from Tom Brady. Okay. The man is obviously the GOAT. But would Tom Brady have been Tom Brady if it wasn't for Bill Belichick early in his career? Because you look at what Belichick's done. I mean, he did it with Garoppolo, and look what's happened to him. Now, granted, he's not very healthy throughout his career, always getting injured, but now he's doing it with this kid, Mac Jones. I mean, come on. I think that, and I'm coming from Philadelphia watching a rookie head coach with a rookie quarterback, and you see how important that is. You're calling the wrong plays for Jalen Hurts, and it shows. It doesn't help that he can't hit wide open receivers either. But it's you look at that and you see the coaching and for Dallas as well. I mean, that kid Cooper Rush, that was amazing. I was, the clock management has been criticized quite a bit, in Dallas, but then you see this kid come in and do the things that he did. Is that all Cooper? Is that part of the coaching? I don't know.
Well, I know that Jerry always thought that Cooper Rush, had what it took to at least be the backup there and actually
Yeah,
be able to perform
because
when he
Jerry's
needs.
personnel decisions have been brilliant through the years.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, I would agree. I would disagree with that, obviously, because I know you're being sarcastic. So, but yeah, like 100%. I'm not happy with our coaching, except, I mean, I'm happy with, our offensive coaching and our defensive coaching and even special teams at times. But I'm not happy with like Mike McCarthy. I think he makes some bonehead decisions. There were some questionable decisions in this last game. It's a game that we were not going to win. And they kept Dak Prescott, who last week they had like kept out of the game because of his calf, and they didn't want to risk anything. And in a game where they're getting blown out by the Broncos, why is Dak in there at the very end in a game he cannot win, running for a 2-point conversion? Come on.
I would agree with that. I would completely agree with that. And given the fact that this kid Cooper Rush has shown some tremendous potential, and the fact that, let's be honest, I'm not a Dak fan. I'm obviously not a Dallas fan. But, you got to give credit where credit's due. He's a phenomenal quarterback, but he also has a history of getting hurt.
Yeah.
So why are you putting him in that position? I totally agree with you. You're not winning this game. Pull Dak. I don't know. I don't know where his head was there. I don't really know what he was thinking. But again, McCarthy, he had his time in Green Bay. I thought that was, to be honest with you, this is my problem with Jerry Jones. How do you not get along with Jimmy Johnson?
Right.
And that whole thing blows up, and you have not won a Super Bowl since then. I mean, I think Jimmy was a phenomenal coach. And how you don't make that relationship work. I tell you, Jerry Jones has got to stop being GM.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Hire a good GM.
Yeah, I agree with that. And like, you get the egos involved, and Jerry thought that, this is easy winning Super Bowls. You just like put the right places, the right people in the right places, and we're going to win every year. And no, I mean, Johnson had a lot to do with that. And
yes,
and it's been the bane of my existence for most of my adult life, for all of my adult life, actually, I should say.
Listen, we're kind of faced with the same situation. I with the Eagles, I always thought Laurie was going to be kind of like the antithesis of Jerry Jones. Mm-hmm. He's turned out he hasn't. And it doesn't matter whether it's Jerry Jones who's GM or, in Philadelphia, we've got that clown Howie Roseman. All right. And we could potentially go into next year's draft with a bunch of first round picks, at least 3 picks in the top 25. And it terrifies Eagles fans that Howie Roseman is going to be the guy making that call. I mean, it's terrifying because I don't think he's capable of putting together a winning team. I think that year was just, and it wasn't Carson Wentz, that he didn't take us there. It was just one of those fluky kind of years. I think that resulted in the Super Bowl win. And, once you get to the Super Bowl, it's, it really is, it's just that game. It could be a touchdown here, a bad penalty there, and you walk away with it. Ask the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, right. Who do y'all got next?
Who do we have this week? I don't even know. I'd have to look.
Yeah, I haven't been paying attention to ESPN or anything this week because I didn't want to hear everybody be like, "Oh, the Cowboys finally lost. There we go." I knew Broncos. Stephen A. Smith. Oh, the Broncos. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah. Believe me, I'm completely at this point. I'm just like, I'm looking at rebuild. I'm so disgusted. The moves they made this last season have just been, since the Super Bowl, has just been horrendous.
You got to rebuild.
Seriously?
Yeah, you got to rebuild from the top down. That's what you got to do.
Howie Roseman's got to go. Doug Peterson. I mean, just the years wasted. Why would you fire that guy? Because he didn't get along with Carson Wentz, who ended up leaving anyway.
Yeah.
The stupidity of that, all of that nonsense is just beyond me.
Yeah, there was also I did see some of the news, obviously, because I get the alerts, but Odell Beckham Jr. going to L.A., and then we got Cam Newton going back to Carolina, so that could be interesting. We'll see what happens there. I'm glad to see. Yeah, I'm glad to see Cam. Obviously, I'm an Auburn Tigers fan, and like the one championship we got in my lifetime, Cam Newton was the quarterback. So like I have a soft spot in my heart for that dude. So I'm excited to see him, kind of back in the game. I hated it when he got cut, but understandable too. I don't think he was a good fit in Belichick's.
This week, right?
What's that?
Are they playing Washington this week or next week?
Oh, I don't know. Are they?
Yeah, because the whole Rivera thing came up in one of the articles I read.
Okay.
So that'll be kind of interesting, I think.
That
but I agree with you. I mean, I think So his career trajectory just didn't quite go the way we thought it was going to go.
I know, right? That was a weird. It was like soaring, and then it just kind of boom. It was done. Like after that Super Bowl, it was just kind of yeah.
Yeah, he had that injury, and then never. Just I don't know. I don't know if it was him. I don't know. It didn't take off the way we all thought. So I feel kind of bad for him. So I'm kind of glad he's back with Carolina. He was kind of a journeyman for a really long time. 1 year with the Patriots and stuff, and he didn't do badly. I mean, he wasn't chewing up yards in the air, but I mean, I don't think he did poorly. I mean, he was a good game manager. And that's probably the experience.
Yeah, and he definitely wasn't one to be a backup quarterback. And I know there was a lot of drama when they cut him before the season, but like I think Bill Belichick cut him because he knew like he's not a backup quarterback, and I'm not going to have him. And it wasn't going to work in that system. And Jones had proven that he was going to get the gig, and that seems to have worked out decently enough for them. So all that jazz, that's cool. But anyway, we're here to also talk about comics.
We are.
Yes, of course, we got to get the sports talk out of the way. Because
we always do, buddy. We always do. So,
and it's nice to do it. It's nice to do it without somebody like John rolling their eyes.
Oh my gosh. Seriously, you got to have more than one hobby, people. Come on, right?
That's true.
But a lot of interesting stuff happening. I guess in comics and so on and so forth. But we talk about this all the time. That and anybody that's watching, make sure you hit the thumbs up. You subscribe if you haven't subscribed to Robbie's channel. It's really important. It helps him grow, helps him reach more people. Share, if you like the content he drops. Robbie does some great things. And right now, we talked about this Wednesday with John about the number of local comic shops that have dropped off the map. And we were interacting with some of the viewers through the chat. And here in New Jersey, everything's very close together, right? It's the densest state in the country. So, when they start to fall off, you feel it, but you get from one end of the state to the other end of the state in about 2.5 hours, 3 hours in traffic, right?
Yeah.
But we forget about like the Midwest. Some of the people, some of our viewers were saying, they love to go to their LCS, but it's 50 miles one way to get there. And I think that's kind of the tragedy that we're seeing right now is that they're closing so rapidly. It was certainly happening before the pandemic 2 years ago, but now, after the pandemic, which has forced a lot of small businesses to close just by the nature of it, we've lost even more. It's really accelerated. So, one of the big messages that we do, and that's why guys like Robbie, AR, they're real important to the industry because they're keeping people engaged. I hope that our shows provide that experience that you have at your local comic shop or your local con. I know somebody's doing a con not too far from here in Valley Forge, but it's not a comic con. It's a kind of a history con. They do historic battles with little miniatures and stuff like that. But he deals in a lot of stuff like gaming and other things like that. So he's there at that con. So I'm interested to talk to him afterwards to see how the traffic was because I don't know. Are people really coming back to the con? I know that you were at a horror con recently. Was it about 3 weeks ago or something like that?
Yeah, and there was a lot.
I hope that the traffic is building back up.
Yeah, there was a lot of people there.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it.
So
Friday was a good day, and there wasn't as many people there, but that's just like the way it works at cons. Like the first day, if it's not the Saturday, Saturdays are always the busiest day, and there was some healthy people there. I mean, I waited like an hour and a half to meet Bruce Campbell. That's how many people were there. So I'll tell you that. Yeah, it was a long. Well,
he's always a big draw at these cons too, though.
He really is.
Everybody wants to see
waiting in that line, I decided I was like, I should have 100% gone to see him Friday because his line Friday was not near what it was on Saturday, just because there were so many more people there.
Yeah, well, people have to work, so it's to make the money so they can spend it. It's gone, right? Saturdays always slammed. Sundays is always got to get there early because some vendors, if they're not really making the money they thought they were going to turn, they start closing up early, try to get out of Dodge, type of thing. So Saturday is the day, but hopefully we're bringing a little bit of that to people, interesting conversation. Sometimes we'll go sports. Sometimes we'll talk about the industry as a whole. But it's anything that you would experience in an LCS. And I know that we've been talking. I think you've been waiting on a diamond shipment, or
Yeah, we're still waiting on our diamond shipment for this week. There was the whole apparently they were hacked or whatever. There was some ransomware going on. Their website was down for the majority of the week. It's still kind of in and out, and us and a bunch of other shops are still waiting on their diamond shipment. We have no information on when, like no tracking numbers, no, or really even no way to really contact some people sometimes, luckily we got.
So were you able to get anything in for New Comic Book Day, or?
Well, we got the DC books because they come from Lunar, and then we got Marvel because we get them from Penguin. But we weren't able to get our Image books. We weren't able to get our Dynamite books, our Boom Studios books, all that kind of stuff we weren't able to get. That's why I had to reach out to Nick and be like, yo, I'm going to need some PDFs for the review this week because I don't even have the comics.
Right. Whenever you end up in that situation, just shoot me an email. We'll get you the books out. I mean, that's no problem. But yeah, I mean, it's the industry is shifting, and we've talked about this before, and this was sort of happening already. Pre-pandemic, it looked like Diamond's monopoly was disappearing, and as a general rule, I think competition is good. Mm-hmm. In our area, Comcast has had a internet monopoly for I don't know how long. Okay, only recently has it shaken out a little bit because 5G LTE technology is starting to make its way through, which you can use for high-speed internet without any hard lines. But for years, and you could see their customer service was horrible because what are you going to do? They knew you had you. What are you going to do? Go get somewhere else to go get your internet? So I don't know if this is necessarily a bad thing, but whenever that change happens, a disruption, begins to happen. And I know from our staff, it's nobody is looking. Obviously, it's still a business that employs a lot of people. A lot of people work at Diamond, and they have families, mortgages, and so on and so forth. So you never want to see something like that happen. But I know that everybody here is dreading it because no matter what changes, the system will change. And it's been Diamond for so long when we're getting our previews out, the number of pages, the people we're dealing with, getting the solicits done, the FOC, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Even if you're dealing in the same industry with the same type of item, the process will change from company to company. And that's just the way of it. I remember back in the day, this was a long time ago when I had a lot more hair. It used to be Diamond in Capital City.
Yeah.
And Capital City out of Wisconsin, which was Madison, Wisconsin. I remember my first few trips there. Man, cleanest place in America. I couldn't even believe it. Walking around the streets, I'm looking for trash. I'm from West Philadelphia. I'm like, wow, this is like the cleanest city I've ever seen in my life.
It's one of those cities you don't even want to use the bathroom in. It's so clean. You're like, I don't want to.
Yeah, right, exactly. So when they disappeared, that kind of changed things. You really had, it was Diamond or no one else. I mean, you as a retailer couldn't get anything from anywhere else. Yeah. So when Marvel and DC did what they did, that fundamentally shifted how things are going to work going forward. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't necessarily, and listen, I'm not bashing Amazon. I mean, I buy tons of stuff from Amazon, Kindle, all that stuff. But, when you have a big conglomerate like that take over stuff, it's kind of like the old hardware stores that used to be in my neighborhood. And the mom and pops, the owner, you want to do something in your bathroom, you talk to him about it. You should use this and try this, and he'd help you out. Now you go to Home Depot to grab a shower head. You can spend an hour in there. And you ask some guy, and he's looking around like, well, I'm not sure where the shower heads are, to be quite honest. Why? Because you got toilets, 2x4s, you got everything you can think of.
Yeah.
The place is massive. And yet, God forbid, you're looking just for, some nuts and bolts.
Yeah. And
you need some help to find.
You need some help. You need some advice. And that even happens in our shop sometimes now because, we're a comic shop first and foremost, but we also do like the card games and board games and Warhammer miniatures and toys and all this stuff. And someone will come in and they'll be like, hey, do you have this card or do you know what about this? I'll be like, I don't know. Let me go find the person and be like, why are you working at a card shop if you don't know the cards? And I'm like, well, go ask them about a comic. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but we always have staff there to cover all those bases. The Diamond stuff, like as soon as DC dropped, like everybody's like, oh man, this could be a big change. And then it didn't really seem like it was changing too much. And then when Marvel left, and ever since then, I know just all I can really speak on is my personal experience. And it's been rougher dealing with Diamond since then. And it seems like it's getting rougher almost week to week. We've had more delays in our shipments this year than we have ever had, and we're not seeing those delays from the other distributors, right? We've opened up, and we have a lot of different distributors for books and things like that now. And I have this one distributor. I'll put an order in, and the next day I have my books. I don't even understand how they do that in this world, because Amazon can't even seem to do that, right?
Right.
So it's crazy. But then the reverberation effect, like, there's still shops that are solely through Diamond, right? They'll get their DC books maybe through Lunar, but you can still order Marvel through Diamond, but it's more like they're working as a wholesaler. But like, for instance, this week, Venom came out. Venom #1 by Ron V. and Al Ewing and Brian Hitch. That's a huge book that a lot of people are anticipating. If a customer comes into a shop and that book ain't on the shelf, they don't really care about the delays or the ransomware attacks or anything like that. They just know you don't have the book they came looking for. And then what do most customers do? They go find it somewhere else.
Yep,
and so you got a lot of shops. We talk about how, especially over these last couple of years, some shops have been kind of, disappearing. And a lot of these shops are really dependent on that week to week, getting that flush of cash on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday to make it through. And some of those shops ain't got that this week. And that's really hurtful for the industry. So I hope that Diamond can work everything out. And obviously ransomware type stuff, maybe that's not necessarily their fault, but it's not the first time something like this has happened.
I think the timing is bad, given all that's occurred, and then the pandemic, and now, with the fundamental shift in distribution with Marvel and DC peeling away and having to adjust to that. So obviously their revenue has gone down, and then boom, you get hit with ransomware. I mean, it's like it's like the final smack in the head, sort of. So I don't know. I mean, how one day this whole thing is going to finally be passed, and we're not going to be talking about it all the time. It's not going to be at the forefront of our minds with the pandemic. And when that dust settles, we'll see. But I think that we have to look at it as it has already fundamentally changed, and it's never going to be quite the same. Now, what it's going to be, I don't think anybody knows. I mean, we're going to find out, that's for sure. Yeah. But the biggest thing that I don't want to see happen, I know guys like yourself and guys like Aaron don't want to see happen, is you don't want to see us start to lose readers and collectors, along the way. Like, this has become too big of a headache, because I look at all of us, that do these YouTube channels and do these videos. I see all of us as being in the same boat, trying to row in the same direction, because there's so many different things these days that people can spend their money on. Yeah. And we don't want to lose those guys. So if you're a local comic shop and you don't know a local comic shop, support that guy. Tell people in that area, hey, go check out, Rockin Robbie's shop, because, he's got great stuff and things like that, because you don't want to lose these people. As a whole, we don't want to lose the comic collectors. And you know what? This is too big a pain. I'm gonna pick up this hobby. I'm gonna start getting sports trading cards. I'm gonna get the entire 2021 Dallas Cowboy set. We that's not what we want to happen. So I hope that the shows that we have, and there are a lot of claim shows. Our show's a little different. It's a little bit of comics. It's a little bit of conversation, different topics. Like today, we're talking about Diamond and the effects that it's having on the industry, that recent events within the industry itself. So it's the future is murky, and all that we can do, that those of us that are in our hobby, that everything we can do to help is always a positive thing. And all the viewers that watch your show, that cross over when you're with us on Monday to watch our show as well, we appreciate that. We do, because they are also contributing to trying to keep this alive. And the best way that we see is offer some great comics at some fantastic prices. Get people introduced to new things. I know that we've introduced Ken Hazer and sketch cover art to a lot of people who may not have known that it is a real niche in the comic collecting world that's starting to grow. And, a remark isn't like the remark you used to get at a con, quick head sketch from a creator, who's willing to take that extra time and sign it for you. You now have blank variant covers. And as you know, with Ken Hazer's work, this is full color head sketches. They're full color, character sketches. It's almost like a one of a kind commission, your own personal cover for that issue. Original art certainly has exploded. Graded comics, signed comics, raw comics, whatever. It's just exploded, and that's one of the positive things, I think, if you can say that anything positive has come out of the pandemic, is that certainly people have gone back and taken an interest in their comic collection, and it has helped support prices. Now, I never encourage anybody to buy something in a comic collectibles as a speculation item. That's not the fun of it. That's not the purpose of it. If you want to speculate, you've got the stock market, you've got tons of cryptocurrency if you'd like. But I guarantee you one thing, the one thing I think makes comics unique is that you can read it, you can appreciate it, you can appreciate the work of the creator. And I can guarantee you one thing, nobody has ever fallen in love with their stock, their bond, or their Bitcoin. Okay? But you can love a particular comic in a particular series or a particular title or a particular character. And I think that is the longevity of comics. That's what separates it from everything else, is that, yes, can you speculate in it? You sure can. You can speculate in almost anything you want. Are the values rising, especially on golden and silver age comics? They certainly are. Mm-hmm. But it'll never go anywhere because it is a hobby where people love to read it, to collect it, whatever you want to call it, and very different from, say, a stock or a bond or even Bitcoin. Sure, we're all real happy now that Bitcoin's somewhere in the mid 60s. Okay, if you own Bitcoin, but you look at it and you go, oh, that's really cool. And then what? You move on. You're watching TV. You're watching your Dallas Cowboys. Okay, lose to very beatable teams. I had to throw that out there.
Nice one. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's my pleasure.
I love the way I love the way you punch up.
Oh, nice! I see what you did there. But so I just kind of random thoughts about the comic book industry and what's happening to it now. This is obviously new. YouTube channels, live streams like this. Mm-hmm. And I hope they're helping to promote. I hope we're getting like minds together, and I feel like we are. I always encourage our viewers to engage us in the chat because they make up these shows as much as anybody. Their interesting questions, their comments, and things like that. A lot of, as you know, when we go when we do our live stream, it's totally unscripted. We don't plan it out. We don't have cue cards. We're not thinking about it. We just kind of free form, and the conversation go from anywhere from football to spam, and I don't mean the kind you get in your email. That one's really taken hold. I get emails from viewers just about various stuff, and spam. Stevie B, I think, always brings a spam up. I got to forward you that email. He actually sent a couple of pictures with the spam. So, so that one stuck. But when you join us on Monday, we'll have graded comics. We'll have the Dynamite 10-pack reader set that we always have on the air. $40 worth of comics, $3.99 cover price or higher. We're selling 10 of them for $5, so they're random titles to kind of just get people reading, picking up new titles, try something new. Signed comics, as we always have. Remarks, we've got a great Spawn remark that we're going to have on the air on Monday by Ken Hazer. Limited edition, high-end virgin covers, you name it. We try to bring it at a great price. We'll have items that are buy it now claims. We'll have items that are best offer claims. So best offer at the end of the night takes it. And we'll have another statue. I know I sent you the list. It said TBD. I haven't picked it out yet. So I have to do that as soon as we're done here and pick out a statue for us on Monday. And we have the contest. And today I'm mixing it up just like we did the last time. So last time I think we did the coin set as the prize, right?
Yeah.
This time we're going to do a signed promo card and a limited edition promo card. So the winner will receive both those items.
Nice.
Which reminds me, should we run the randomizer?
We should. I have it set up. Robbie's revolutionary randomizer of ridiculousness. And there we go. And all you had to do was be a part of the chat, and the winner is Joe Santiago.
Joe Santiago. Let me write that down.
Oh, and here's a good the comment that got picked in the randomizers. Ooh, I could go for an empanada.
Oh, we were talking about the food truck that I had run into. Now I'd like an empanada, but that food truck's all the way up in central Jersey, and I don't even know if they're there anymore. So, Joe, I could use an empanada right now as well. I'm sorry that I saw that post again, or I heard the post again. But you have won, and I'll get you an image of this, Robbie. You have won a limited edition Witchblade Millennial autograph card by Joe Jusko and a Red Sonja 45th anniversary promotional card from the trading card set that we released celebrating Red Sonja. And I know that was a little hard to see, but he will get both of those as his prize, and get me his info so we can ship that out to him. And I encourage everybody. This is a way that Robbie, John, and I kind of encourage people to contribute to the chat. You don't have to do anything special. You can just post something like, I really want an empanada, or hey guys, how you doing? And you're automatically entered in the contest. And we do it on Robbie's show tonight, and then we'll do it again on Monday. We'll do another drawing for everybody that contributes in the chat for Robbie's show tonight. And it's just our way of saying thank you, and to get people to engage in the chat, because that really makes the show. When people don't comment or post things in the chat, we might end up running out of stuff to talk about. Nah,
Exactly.
I'm kidding. We'll never run out of stuff to talk about.
We'll never run out of stuff to talk about. But that's right. All you got to do to enter this next contest is comment on this video below. We'll announce that winner on Monday night's show over at the EXP, The Experience. We start that show at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It runs for 2 hours. Me, Rex, and John talking about comics, pop culture, who knows what else? Who knows, right? Like, you never know. It's always a fun conversation. Lots of great books are going to be available to make offers on, to make claims on, but it's really just the awesome conversation as well that I love. But I'm really excited, because I haven't gotten the images yet, to see that Ken Hazer Spawn remark. I'm really excited to see that.
Yes, we'll get those to you in a little bit. But, again, we'll have remark sketch covers. We'll have graded CGC slab comics. And just so everybody knows, when we bring you the CGC slab comics, you are guaranteed the grade, because everything on our show is a one-shot, a one-of. So we don't bring multiple quantities on at that price, because sometimes we get a little crazy with the price. I mean, literally, I think we'll have $100 limited edition, ultra rare limited edition virgin covers that have a suggested retail of $100. Sometimes we'll let them go for $10.
Wow.
The Dynamite 10-pack reader set, that's 50 cents a comic. I don't remember last time that was back in the early 80s, maybe, the comics were at 50 cents. Oh, no, that was 35 cents. I'm trying to think. I forget what year they went up to 50 cents, but you tell me where you can get a 50-cent comic anymore.
Yeah.
And statues. We'll have statues that lately they've been the best offer of the night. We had a real interesting one. It was our buddy Dave and I forget who else, but they were killing me, because they were going after it, and they were using $1 increments. So they kept going. It was almost impossible. I'm looking at my little screen. I'm trying to write it all down. I filled, yeah. And I'm like, man, somebody just take it. But no, they enjoyed the battle. $1 higher, $1 higher, $1. And towards the end, I had to finally call it, because we were getting to like $7.58 or something like that, and we had to go off the air. And so, but we always have a lot of fun. And I hope everybody finds the time to join us. Thank you for joining Robbie's show tonight. We appreciate that. And remember to hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe. Very important. If you haven't subscribed and you're a regular viewer on Robbie's channel, make sure you do that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rex, for being here, and I'll see you on Monday night. We'll see you, PCP Army, Monday night. Holler, station.
Have a great weekend.